So I wanted to talk about the last couple weeks, about events that have led up to everything that's been going on. We've had a busy 2 weeks and protecting Mother Earth, protecting our water. You know, last week we had the interim regulations hearing and the city council meeting and demanded that our sovereignty be respected. You know, it hasn't fully set into my mind that me and my brother Chester was arrested protecting our sovereignty, and that we won that court case within 2 court dates because the city of Fife said it was too complex to go through and didn't even acknowledge our sovereignty. They just dismissed the case without prejudice. And it's truly been an eye-opener, you know, and I was thinking of the spot to where I could come down here and do a live video, and I chose the mouth of our river. You see behind me is what the port does to our river. That's where our salmon have to accumulate and immaculate before they come into the river. That's only part of the environmental injustice that constantly happens to our tribe. And when I speak of that, we wasn't an urban tribe by we wanted to be. A city was built up around us. That's how this truly came into existence. And we're constantly fighting for our right to be recognized. Not recognized as federally recognized, but recognized that this is our ancestral lands and this is our home. We've signed over a lot of our lands in the Medicine Creek Treaty to have these rights. Our ancestors wanted us to have a good life. They looked out for future generations. I think that if they could have looked into the future and known what we signed over was for this to happen, I think they would have chose to fight to the death. Because I would have truly chose to fight to the death if I would have looked at and seen what we had to have grown up into. That a city was going to be built around us. That we was going to regularly be disregarded as a tribe. Puget Sound Energy talks about how they're trying to shut down the coal strips and how we're going against the economic growth of Pierce County. But I would like to point out that the Puyallup Tribe is the 3rd largest employer in Pierce County, soon to be 2nd, as soon as one of the corporation leaves. So we're completely for the economic growth of Pierce County. We don't want those 16 jobs that you're offering, those capitalist jobs at the LNG facility. That's all the jobs that they're providing. You know, I sit back and I think about this. You know, I go through everybody's live feeds and everybody that comes down there and supports us and different people. You know, I was going through this lady's that came down there. She was a reporter for one of the news stations, and she did a go live on one of her fan pages. And I went through, and it was a lot of racist comments on there, you know, calling us hippies, calling us everything else. And I'm just reading through these comments, and I'm like, God, why is your capacity to think so low? We're out here fighting for the environment. We're fighting for your kids. We're fighting for future generations. You know, we're protecting Mother Earth. We're trying to have a sustainable future. If that makes me a hippie, then by all rights, me and call me a hippie. You know, but I consider myself a warrior. I'm out here protecting Mother Earth. You know, the group of people that we stand with constantly out here, I consider them warriors. You know, we want nothing but a better future. We see it every day with the hurricanes, the earthquakes, everything that's happening around us in the world. We're truly coming to a horrible place in the world, and I truly dislike the place that we're going in the world. That's why I've started this positivity campaign with my brother Will. You know, we came to this conclusion: if we're constantly pounding the world with positivity and getting everybody to come to that same conclusion, then we can truly live in a beautiful place in the world, constantly pumping out positivity. You know, today was such a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day. All across Washington State, Puget Sound Energy heard the public, heard the outpouring, heard the call of the public, heard the demands. You know, I'll go through the list of demands. We don't want the LNG facility built here. We don't want LNG nowhere on Earth. Shut down the coal strips and clean up your ponds. Not just cap them, but completely clean up the ponds. The coal ponds. If you don't know what it is, look into it. It's truly devastating what they're doing over there in Montana. Switch over to renewable resources. We see your hydroelectric plant that you're doing over there in Snoqualmie Falls, and I like that. I'd like to give Puget Sound Energy props for that, but do it on a wider scale. Make it happen. The Pacific Northwest is prime location for renewable energy. Prime location. We have tidal power, solar power, sun power, all that. Puget Sound Energy could be doing that. And then they can officially call themselves Puget Sound for the Puget Sound. Not just Puget Sound Energy. Our owners live over in Australia. You know, it warmed my heart to see how many people truly came out and stood with us. You know, Charmaine gave me a drop of water pendant today. You know, thank you for that. You know, it truly warmed my heart. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking of the last couple weeks, and we've been going at this for 7 months. And everybody that comes out here and stands with us, this awareness that's being raised is truly beautiful. When we first started this, I didn't even know what LNG was. I knew what natural gas was. I didn't know what LNG was. Now everybody knows what LNG is. Everybody knows what we're up against. You know, and people are starting to become more and more aware of what's happening to the world. The world's on fire. Hurricane after hurricane are hitting our coast. Earthquakes are happening. You know, and it's like the model that Darren did. You know, Darren did this big model on how the port of Tacoma is built on top of sand, sinkable sand. You know, it's built on top of tide flats. If an earthquake hits us, it'll liquefy and drop everything down. That means the LNG facility, everything that the port has going on here will drop down into the Salish Sea. Then what will happen? You know, and Darren did this months and months ago. You know, and that's the amount of research that people are putting into this. You know, and it raising awareness is key in these movements. You know, because if awareness isn't raised, then the companies like Puget Sound Energy, I shouldn't even say companies, corporations like Puget Sound Energy can go and do this that's right behind me. Go and do that. That's where our salmon have to go. That's the mouth of the Puyallup River right there. The stormwater from the port of Tacoma runs into the river, and if you know anything about stormwater, it's bad. You know, like everything that's inside of the port runs off into the mouth of our river. Everything that's been sitting on the top of their pavement just runs into the mouth of our river, and our salmon have to sit there and sit in that and come up river. You know, I don't want to eat farm salmon. You know, I feel like if our salmon are gone, we're gone. We have 4 years. That's what our fisheries predicted. That's how long our runs have, is 4 years. And that makes me sad. That truly makes me sad, because one day I wanted to fish with my sons. You know, I had dreams of fishing with my sons. That's why I hung up my nets for a long time. I haven't fished for a long time. You know, the last couple times I went out was to raise awareness of our treaty rights and everything else. And that's why I went out and fished. You know, and gave away all the fish to the elders like we're supposed to elders and single families and all that. You know, I don't do that for praise, but I do that to show that we got to live by these ways. We have to go back to the original ancestral teachings. You know, I had a person ask me, what are we going to do if this all ends, if this all collapses? You know, and I haven't thought about that in a long time, but it looks like we're coming to that point, that this whole corrupt system is going to collapse in on itself, implode. You know, you see everything that Trump's doing out here. He's truly messing a lot of things up out here. Truly messing a lot of things up and pissing off a lot of people out here. You know, but that's a reflection of the society. He's a reflection of society's thought process today. That's why we got to constantly pump out positivity. You know, I wanted to react so badly when I seen all the racist comments inside of some of the videos today, but I kind of just laughed it off, and I said, man, that's a person's capacity to think right there. If they want to go to racist, they want to make fun of my cedar hat, they want to say I look funny or whatever, they say that we don't care about the economic growth of Pierce County, that's why we're trying to stop it, we're a bunch of hippies, all this other stuff, keep burning your oil. I just sat back and I laughed at it, you know, because I wasn't going to respond to their ignorance with even more ignorance. You know, so just a reflection of looking out, looking back to the past couple days, you know, I just want to tell everybody I love you. Truly, I love every single one of you. You know, everybody on planet Earth, constantly. Don't let hate dwell in your heart. You know, you let hate stay in your heart and you'll become a hateful person. You know, that's why I constantly think about stuff that I attend and the way I think. You know, because you can't think your way into a new way of living. You have to live your way into a new way of thinking. And that's straight from the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book. You know, so thank you to all my brothers and sisters out here that find it necessary to protect the environment. Thank you to all my brothers and sisters out here that find it necessary to fight the system of colonialism, the system of oppression. Because that's the only true way that we're gonna end all this, everything that's going on, is to truly fight the system of oppression. You know? So take time to think tonight. Take time to think, put your prayers up, and really think about what you're gonna pray about. You know, because Creator does listen. Put your prayers out for Mother Earth. Put your prayers out for this water. You know, Paul told a very impactful story. How his grandmother, she didn't even speak English, spoke the northern dialect with Lashutsi. How she told him one day that this will be the next war. This will be the next war, and she held up a glass of water. That one day you won't be able to get a clean glass of this. Our elders foreseen that so many years ago. Years and years and years and years ago. We have prophecies from a long time ago about what was going to happen today. And we're truly living in those times. You know, I get so worked up when I go into those port commissioner meetings. I have to detune, you know. I walk into there and it's just so, they're so arrogant to me, you know. They sit there on their desk and they look at you, and you know that they're not listening, but you have to figure out to make them listen to you. And that's what I'm constantly finding myself doing, is figuring out a way to make them listen to me. You know, they said that the Puyallup Tribe was in violation of the lands claim settlement, but yet I'm sitting down here in full view of how they're in violations of the lands claim settlement. You know, in the lands claim settlement, they had said that the port, the Puyallup Tribe, and local governments are to take care of the environment and take care of the salmon. Our elders had signed into that for our salmon to be taken care of. It's very specific on salmon, very specific, because we are the salmon people. And I'm in full view of them in violations of the lands claim settlement right here. And then about 100 feet to my right over here, there's a stormwater runoff. So is that not abusing our environment? Is that taking care of the environment? But, you know, it's a lesson that goes with what my grandmother, great-grandmother taught me. I can't hate them for anything that they do. I can just truly love them and try to break the cycle and be the change that I want to be, that I want in society. It's the only thing we can do is be the change that we want. You know, I can't control anybody else's actions but my own. Be responsible for myself. You know, so I just wanted to give you guys some of my thoughts from the last couple weeks. You know, there was a lot of actions, you know, a lot of meetings, the port commissioner meetings, city council meetings, and you know, to everybody that tries to figure out what they can do, make it to these port commissioner meetings, make it to these city council meetings. You know, you don't have to come out there and stand on the front lines. You know, if that's what you don't feel comfortable doing, that, make it to these meetings and let the city council hear your voice. Let the port commissioner hear your voice. Let society hear your voice. You know, so let you guys get a view of that real quick, of the injustice that our waters face every day. You know, they don't like the light to be brought to that. They like it to be hidden. But that right there is a real environmental injustice that's right behind me. You know, I always drive around these areas and I think about how the area looked when my ancestors used to use the waterways with used to ride around the waterways with their canoes. walk around your hunt. It was truly a beautiful place when I think of it in my mind. And look at what we have to live in today. We host these governments. We host the Port of Tacoma. We host Puget Sound Energy, and they don't absolutely give no First Nation person respect. It's colonialism at its finest. At its finest. We constantly have to educate them about the Medicine Creek Treaty. We constantly have to educate them on the lands claim settlement. We constantly have to protect our sovereignty. When our ancestors gave up so much willingly for our generations, our ancestors gave up all that so our generations could have a good life. You know, so thank everybody for raising awareness. Thank everybody for standing with the Puyallup tribe. Thank everybody for standing up for Mother Earth. You know, I'm gonna tune off. You know, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts for the moment. You know, so I love all you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I love Mother Earth. I say prayers for you guys on a nightly basis. When I load up that Chinook and I smoke it, I say prayers for every single one of you, even the racist people out there, even the people that make fun of us and think what we're doing is irrelevant. I say my prayers for them. I say my prayers for everybody. I say my prayers for Mother Earth. You know, I'm part of the seventh generation out here. If we don't change this, who will? Our kids will have to grow up in a world that's not even a quarter of what it is today. My kids will have to grow up in that. I won't allow that. I won't tolerate that. That's why I find it so necessary to move into the future the way that we're moving into the future as warriors. You know, we have to defend what's ours. We have to defend Mother Earth. We have to defend future generations. It's necessary. I promise you it's necessary. If giving up your freedom is what you have to do, giving up your freedom is necessary then. If you have to be arrested out there in the front lines, just know you join the ranks of rock stars out there that have been doing this for a long time. That, you know, like, that isn't nothing new. There's a lot of people out here that have been arrested out here for doing this kind of work. Standing Rock, fishing wars. I could go down the list of times that they've been arrested, killed, handcuffed, beaten, all types of stuff. You know, we have a very good record here in the Pacific Northwest. A very good record of fights that have been led out here by my elders, by different elders, by everybody raising awareness, the methanol plant, all that. Fishing wars, our rights to fish our own waters, to hunt our own lands, all that. Puget Sound Energy won't be allowed to build their fossil fuel project down here to dump it on us. I promise you that. We will go back to this video. So I love you guys. I'm gonna tune off now.